Good morning, I'm Samriddhi Casey and these are the headlines of the hour. World observes 115th International Women's Day today. Various programs being organized all over the country. Stakeholders state lack of sufficient improvement in condition of women. Reluctance of parliamentarians in the proposal of revised bill to grant citizenship to the children of single mothers. Right activists accuse of prevalence of patriarchal thinking. US President Donald Trump threatens Russia with sanctions until Ukraine peace is reached. Sources say sanctions could target Russian oil firms. And Women's Day Cup 2025 quadrangular T20 tournament to kick off from today. Nepal to lock horns with Namibia in its first match. Welcome back. The 115th International Women's Day is being celebrated today with a variety of programs being organized all over the nation and abroad. The major theme for this year is for all women and girls' rights, equality and empowerment. The Ministry of Women, Children and Senior Citizens is holding a special function, while women's organizations affiliated with various political parties have also planned different events for International Women's Day. This day is observed every year on March 8, commemorating the economic, political and social achievements of women working in various fields around the world, while also advocating for enhanced women's empowerment, elimination of gender inequality and violence. Women's rights have been established as a fundamental right in the Constitution of Nepal. Based on the principle of proportional representation, women's participation in the political and administrative organs of the state has also been ensured. Currently, there are 34% women representatives in the federal parliament, 36.5% in provincial assembly and 41.1% at the local level. Likewise, there is currently about 28% female employees in the civil service. The United Nations has been celebrating Women's Day since 1975. On 8th of March 1908, more than 15,000 women in the United States demonstrated demanding shorter working hours, better pay and the right to vote. This day is celebrated to commemorate the day when women themselves began the struggle for their rights and well-being. Lawmakers have registered amendments to the Nepal Citizenship Bill, making it harder for those without identity to obtain citizenship. They proposed cancelling the provision allowing children to acquire citizenship if either parent is Nepalese. Stakeholders fear this could worsen rather than resolve citizenship issues. The government proposed in the citizenship bill that children can obtain citizenship through their mother without acquiring the father's name if he is absent. This aims to prevent denial of citizenship in cases of parental separation or an uncooperative father. Likewise, the bill ensures citizenship from children born abroad to Nepalese mothers, particularly those from foreign employment, if they reside in Nepal without foreign citizenship or a known father. However, lawmakers including CP and UML's Raghuji Pant, Thakur Gaire and Narayan Acharya have registered amendments to remove these provisions, arguing against them.
समाजको एउटा विकृति हुन्छ किनभने समाजमा बाउको पनि पहिचान हुनुपर्छ आमाको पनि पहिचान हुनुपर्छ हामी आमाको नाउँबाट नागरिकता पाउनेमा बाउको अस्तित्व हराउन मिल्दैन
Thousands of people born to single mothers are still unable to obtain citizenship. Lawmakers attempted to remove the government's proposal addressing this issue. They also registered amendments to prevent children from getting neutralized citizenship if either parent was Nepalese but died before acquiring citizenship. A total of 36 amendments have been registered in the Nepali Citizenship Second Amendment Bill, with most lawmakers focusing on Section 3 and 5. Stakeholders have opposed these amendments, criticizing them as influenced by patriarchal thinking.
केडा सोच भएका त्यस्ता सांसदहरू हुनुहुन्छ भने त्यो सांसदहरूको एकदमै व्यक्तिगत संकीर्ण पितृसत्तात्मक सोच हो। त्यो चाहिँ नि महिला चाहिँ नि महिला चाहिँ नि मानव होइन दोस्रो दर्जा हो भनेर मानिराखेको कुरा हो। महिलाको मानव अधिकारको सम्मान उनीहरूले गरिरहेका छैनन्। त्यो नगर्नु भनेको उहाँहरू चाहिँ नि जनताका मान्छे होइनन् भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ नि एकदमै प्रष्ट र प्रमाणित भयो।
Current law allows a child born in Nepal to obtain citizenship through a Nepalese mother if the father is unidentified but does not grant citizenship to those born abroad. Many children remain stateless due to fathers' non-cooperation, preventing mothers from granting citizenship. The proposed amendment aims to provide acquired citizenship to such individuals, but some lawmakers are opposing it. The government has prepared to focus on projects that will give returns in the budget of upcoming fiscal year. The federal government, which has limited resources, is preparing the budget by reducing investments in the projects that will not be completed and do not show progress. Necessary consultations with Ministry of Finance and National Planning Commission regarding the same are ongoing. Since the midterm expenditure structure is unable to provide unified assessment of resources, the government is going to prioritize projects in next year's budget. Necessary homeworks are being done to allocate budgets to projects of strategic importance out of total 17,000 projects included in the project bank. Ministry of Finance has made necessary consultation with former finance secretaries and experts on 2nd of March, to which they have advised to classify projects of the project bank and allocate priorities accordingly.
सबैले ड्रप गर्ने हैन, अन्त्य गर्ने भनेपछि तपाईको क ख ग 3 श्रेणीमा लगियो। त्यो गरेपछि फेरि निर्णय मात्रै गरेर पुगेन नि त। यसको कसरी समाधान हुन्छ त? अब सबै सहजीकरण गरेर एक ठाउँमा स्रोत लगेर यसलाई सक्ने 3 महिना 4 महिना 6 महिना भित्र सक्ने भनेपछि यसको आयोजनाको चाहिँ योजना बनाउनु पर्यो, तालिका बनाउनु पर्यो। यो सक्नको निमित्त कसले को जिम्मेवार, कसले काम गर्ने, कसरी काम गर्छ भन्ने कुराको प्रष्ट खाका हुनु पर्यो। लेखदेर मात्रै हुँदैन।
A senior government official has said that the budget will be focused on projects of national pride such as Babai Irrigation Project, Rani Jamara Kularia Irrigation, where physical progress is around 80%. Likewise, in projects such as Sunkosi Marine, Mahakali Irrigation and Kathmandu Tarai Fast Track, efforts are underway to complete projects on time, aiming to overcome frustration that development has not taken place.
एउटा प्राथमिकता के हो भन्दा हामीसित चाहिँ विगतमा धेरै परियोजनाहरू भए। धेरै परियोजना सबैमा चाहिँ बाँड्दा चाहिँ थोरै थोरै रकम बाँड्दाखेरिमा हामी के गर्न सकेनौँ भने सम्पन्न गर्न सकेनौँ। त्यो भएर यो वर्ष चाहिँ के भनेछौँ भन्दा परियोजनाहरू सम्पन्न गर्ने वर्ष हो र यसरी जाउँ भनेछौँ। सम्पन्न कसरी गर्ने हो त भन्दाखेरिमा थोरै पैसा राखेर छिटो सम्पन्न हुनेलाई पहिलो प्राथमिकता दिने। त्यसपछि चाहिँ अलिकति धेरै पैसा राखेर त्यो चाहिँ वर्ष घटाउने हैन, कति चाहिँ भनौँ न 3 वर्ष लाग्थ्यो भने पैसा राखेर 2 वर्षमा आउँछ भने त्यसलाई प्रायोरिटी दिने।
While the government is preparing budget, external assistance is on decreasing trend and resources have also become very weak. The state is struggling to raise money as this is only adding to the internal liability. The federal government, which is short on resources, should be able to make provincial and local government responsible by prioritizing projects. Industrialists have expressed concern that Nepal's investment climate is becoming unfavorable day by day. They have emphasized on the need to create jobs, ensure tax revenue for the government and provide better facilities to the citizens, highlighting importance on improving infrastructure to support economic growth. At a program organized in the capital, industrial entrepreneurs criticized the negative perception of investment and infrastructural development in Nepal. They emphasized that such negativity discourages business enthusiasm and called for measures to restore confidence and motivation among entrepreneurs.
त्यो सानो अर्थतन्त्र भएको मुलुकमा पछिल्ला 2 वर्षमा 75,000 भन्दा पनि बढी व्यक्तिहरू कालो सूचीमा पर्नु चिन्ताको विषय हो।
They have raised concerns over more than 75,000 people falling under blacklist despite in the past 2 years. Industrialists state that there is a lack of coordination among monetary and fiscal policies in the recent times. It is time for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. US President Donald Trump said that he would add new tariffs to his sanctions threat against Russia if the country does not make a deal to end its war in Ukraine. Russia recently launched missile and drone attacks on Ukraine. It is reported that Trump informed on his social network Truth Social that Russia is preparing to impose other sanctions and new tariffs, including on Russian banks, until peace talks to end the Ukraine war are reached. He also urged both sides to come to peace talks before it is too late. The US is one of the largest oil suppliers to Russia. In 2021 alone, the US imported $29.6 billion worth of oil from Russia. After the start of the Ukraine war, oil imports between the two countries have reportedly dropped to zero after the US imposed sanctions on various entities on Russia. However, the US still imports agricultural fertilizers. Meanwhile, Trump has also said that he was finding it more difficult to deal with Ukraine and that it may be easier to deal with Russia as his administration seeks to reach a peace agreement. Likewise, on Friday, the US suspended military aid and intelligence sharing to Ukraine in order to facilitate the peace talks. Cryptocurrency industry elite met with US President Donald Trump at the White House yesterday to discuss how the government will enact Trump's vision of making the country the crypto capital of the world. Trump on Thursday signed an executive order to establish a Bitcoin and 4 other coins strategic reserve, directing the Secretaries of Treasury and Commerce to develop budget-neutral strategies for acquiring additional Bitcoin that have no incremental cost on taxpayers. The reserve will be capitalized with Bitcoin owned by federal government that was forfeited as part of criminal or civil asset forfeiture proceedings. The plans disappointed some in the market who had hoped for a firm plan to buy new tokens. The announcement made on Thursday weighed on the price of Bitcoin, last down 1.4% at $88,194. FIFA President Gianni Infantino also attended the meeting, presenting the World Cup trophy for the upcoming tournament that will be jointly hosted by US, Mexico, and Canada. Infantino also touted the idea of launching an official FIFA cryptocurrency. At least 6 people were killed in Argentina amid fierce storms that turned streets into rivers in the parts of Buenos Aires province on Friday. Drone footage showed the scale of the devastation in the port city of Bahia Blanca, with floodwaters encroaching homes and submerging vehicles on the streets. The Bahia Blanca local government described the situation as very critical, noting that Maldonado Canal and the Naposta stream had overflowed, submerging parts of the city and accumulating over 300 millimeters of water. Syria's interim president Ahmad al-Shara said yesterday in his first comment following violence in Syrian coastal areas that Syria will pursue the remnants of the ousted Bashar al-Assad regime and bring them to trial. In a televised address, Shara called on his security forces to avoid exaggeration or overreaction and said the remnants of the fallen regime would be brought to a fair court. Syrian security forces battled for a second day on Friday to crush a nascent insurgency by fighters from Assad's Alawite sect in western Syria, with scores reported killed as the Islamist-led government faced the biggest challenge yet to its authority. Syrian authorities say remnants of the ousted Assad regime launched a deadly and well-planned attack on their forces on March 6 in the coastal region, which is heavily populated by the members of the Alawite minority. Authorities have not issued a death toll, but the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights reported that more than 180 people had been killed in 2 days of violence. The violence has shaken Shara's efforts to consolidate control as his administration struggles to get US sanctions lifted and grapples with wider security challenges, notably in the southwest, where Israel has said it will prevent Damascus deploying forces. Haitian economist and former central bank chief Fritz Alphonse Zine took over the rotating presidency of Haiti's Transitional Presidential Council yesterday taking the top executive role in a country battling a devastating conflict with armed gangs. Zine took over from architect Leslie Volatar in a friendly ceremony following a more fraught transition in October when the first president refused to sign the transition decree over an unresolved corruption scandal. His term is set to run until August 7 this year, after which businessman Lawrence Sensor is set to take over through to the February 2026 deadline. He stated that this is at war and it is imperative everyone unites to win, pledging a rectifying war budget and to train more than 3,000 new police and army recruits this year to address endemic shortfalls in personnel. The government spent some $227 million or 9% of its 2024-25 budget on the national police but remains underfunded and undergunned compared to the gangs. Thousands of protesters gathered outside Parliament yesterday ahead of a no-confidence vote in Parliament over a deadly 2023 train collision. It is the third protest in days and followed a demonstration of hundreds of thousands last week on the anniversary of the train crash. Earlier in the day, thousands of students marched to Parliament after demonstrators once again circled the Parliament building during a debate where the censure motion was submitted on March 5th. Protesters have rallied since the tragedy on February 28, 2023, when a passenger train coming from Athens and a freight train coming from Thessaloniki collided head-on near Larissa in the Tempe area, killing 57 people, most of them students. Protesters want political accountability and more transparency over what happened on the night of the crash and a swifter conclusion to the investigation so that a trial can start and punishment handed out. Lawmakers from the main opposition PASOK party and leftist party submitted the censure motion against Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis' government, accusing it of shirking responsibility over the crash, failing to fix critical safety gaps and covering up evidence. The government has denied any wrongdoing. With 156 seats in the 300-seat parliament, the government is expected to survive the motion. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.